Alpha, the Magnet Warrior. Card type, monster. Attribute, earth. Types, rock, normal. Level 4, attack 1400, defense 1700. Alpha, beta, and gamma meld as one to form a powerful monster. Card trivia, Alpha the Magnet Warrior. This monster appears in the artworks of Magnet Induction, Magnet Reborn, Magnetic Field, and Triangle Force. This card appears in the original anime artwork of Montage Dragon. This card's name is based on Alpha, the first letter of the Greek alphabet. This monster has a retrained counterpart, Alpha the Electromagnet Warrior. This monster has a retrained Rush Duel counterpart, Alpha the Eternal Magnet Warrior. This card, Beta the Magnet Warrior and Gamma the Magnet Warrior, each feature the same flavor text. The only other cards to feature the same flavor text are the Ojama normal monsters. This card's Japanese and Korean OCG flavor text is also the shortest among normal monsters. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, this monster is shown to not have a face without its magnet, helmet, or mask. This makes this the only one of the three Magnet Warriors monsters to not feature pupils in its design. Card appearances, Alpha the Magnet Warrior, Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle City. In episode 57, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against a rare hunter. He summons this card in attack position. On the last turn of the duel, Summon Skull attacks directly, and this card then attacks directly. Yugi then activates this card's effect to increase the attack of this card by 200 during the damage step. The attack then wipes out the remainder of Seeker's life points, winning Yami Yugi the duel. In episode 60, Yugi uses this card during his duel against Arcana. He summons this card on the first turn of the duel. On Yugi's next turn, he activates Brain Control to take control of Arcana's Legion the Fiend Jester. Yugi then tributes this card and Legion the Fiend Jester in order to tribute summon Dark Magician. In episode 63, this card appears in a flashback Joey has when he notes in his mind that a player plays honestly no matter what tricks their opponent uses. In episode 67, this card is seen in Yami Yugi's hand during his duel against Strings while the latter was possessed by Marek Ishtar. In episode 72, Yugi uses this card during his tag duel with Seto Kaiba against Loomis and Umbra. He summons this card in attack position. This card then attacks and destroys Loomis's set Melkid the Four-Faced Beast. In the next episode, Yugi tributes his three Magnet Warriors in order to special summon Valkyrion the Magna Warrior. After Umbra activates Masquerade to gain control of Valkyrion the Magna Warrior, who Loomis took control of via the Mask of Remnants, Valkyrion attacks Yugi directly, but Yugi activates Defusion to return Valkyrion to his deck and revive the three Magnet Warriors under Umbra's control. Later, Kaiba activates Soul Exchange to allow himself to tribute his opponent's monsters for any tribute summons he performs this turn. Kaiba then tributes Umbra's three Magnet Warriors in order to tribute summon Obelisk the Tormentor. In episode 74, this card appears within some of the small clips that were shown going through a black playground before we see a montage of Yugi's Battle City duels. In episode 85, this card can be seen when Yugi is rebuilding his deck. Virtual World. In episode 103, this card appears in a flashback Taya Gardner has when she remembers Yugi talking about Mahavelo looking similar to him and having a great power inside its effects. In episode 111, this card is shown in Yami Yugi's hand during his tag duel with Joey against the Big Five. Yugi was later forced to discard this card from his hand due to card destruction. In episode 118, Yugi uses this card during his duel against Noah Kaiba. After this card is summoned, Yugi uses this card to attack directly. Later, Yugi tributes this card in order to tribute summon Dark Magician Girl. Battle City Finals. In episode 129, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against Kaiba. He summons this card in defense position. Kaiba then activates Soul Exchange to allow himself to tribute Yugi's monsters for a tribute summon. Kaiba then attempts to tribute summon Obelisk the Tormentor by tributing this card, Queen's Knight, and X-Head Cannon, but Yugi activates Change of Heart to take control of X-Head Cannon. Kaiba then activates Enemy Controller to regain control of X-Head Cannon. Kaiba then tries to tribute this card, Queen's Knight, and X-Head Cannon in order to tribute summon Obelisk. But Yugi activates Light Force Sword to banish Obelisk from Kaiba's hand for 3 turns. Later, Kaiba's X-Head Cannon, whose attack was 2200 due to it being equipped with Y-Dragon Head, attacks and destroys this card. In episode 142, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against Yami Merrick. He banishes this card in order to activate Ragnarok. This card was then shown as one of the many monsters that were used to hold down Yami Merrick's The Winged Dragon of Ra. Waking the Dragons. In episode 145, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against Gurumo. He summons this card in attack position. Gurumo then activates Hidden Soldiers to special summon Makuyura the Destructor. As Yugi normal summoned a monster after Yugi activates the Shallow Grave to revive Beta the Magnet Warrior. Yugi tributes his 3 Magnet Warriors in order to special summon Valkyrion the Magnet Warrior. Excuse me. In the next episode, Yugi activates the effect of Valkyrion the Magnet Warrior to tribute itself and revive his 3 Magnet Warriors. Yugi then activates Brave Attack to add up the attack of all the 3 Magnet Warriors and use all 3 Magnet Warriors to attack and destroy Gurumo's Obelisk the Tormentor. At the end of the battle phase, this card and the other 2 Magnet Warriors were destroyed due to the last effect of Brave Attack. In episode 162, during Yami Yugi's duel against Weevil Underwood, Yugi draws this card through the effect of Berserker Soul. This card was the 5th card Yami Yugi drew through the effect of Berserker Soul. Yugi then sends this card to the graveyard to allow Breaker to attack directly again. In episode 163, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against Yugimoto. He summons this card in attack position. This card then attacks and destroys Yugi's set Sangan. This activates the latter's effect, allowing Yugi to add a monster with 1500 or less attack from his deck to his hand. Later, Obnoxious Celtic Guardian, whose attack was 1900 due to the Seal of Orichalcos, attacks and destroys this card. In the same duel, this card is shown in Yugi's hand, but he discards it due to the effect of card destruction. In episode 174, this card appears in the flashback Raphael has when he remembers the strategy Yami Yugi has used to defeat Obelisk the Tormentor while the latter was under the possession of Gurumo. In episode 175, this card appears in a flashback Yami Yugi has when he remembers Yugi telling him that in order to understand another person's pain, he must share the burden of their darkness. In episode 182, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against Darts. He uses the effect of Legendary Knight Hermos to banish this card, Beta, and Gamma while Hermos and Critias were attacking Divine Serpent Ge as part of Yami Yugi's winning strategy. Dawn of the Duel. In episode 222, Yugi uses this card during his duel against Yami Yugi. He tributes this card, Beta the Magnet Warrior and Gamma the Magnet Warrior, from his hand in order to special summon Valkyrion the Magnet Warrior. Later, Yugi activates the effect of Valkyrion to tribute itself and revive the 3 Magnet Warriors. The second mouth effect of Slifer activates, but Yugi activates Magnet Force to redirect the effect back at the Egyptian gods, decreasing the attack by 2000. Yugi then uses the Silent Swordsman level 0 to attack Obelisk, but Yami Yugi activates Mirror Force to destroy all of Yugi's monsters. Yugi then reveals that he wanted this to happen. In the next episode, Yugi activates Magnet Reverse to revive Valkyrion the Magnet Warrior in defense position. In the second mouth effect of Slifer activates, but Magnet Force redirects the effect at Obelisk, destroying it. Yugi then activates the effect of Valkyrion to tribute itself and revive his 3 Magnet Warriors. The second mouth effect of Slifer activates again, but Magnet Force redirects the effect back at Ra and Slifer. One blast hits Ra and decreases its attack to 1000. The second blast then hits Ra and decreases its attack to 0, destroying it. The final blast hits Slifer and decreases its attack to 0, destroying it. Later, Chimera, the flying mythical beast, attacks and destroys this card. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. In episode 75, this card appears in a flashback Tyranno Hasselberry has when he recognizes the top of the tower location as the place where Yamayuki and Kaiba had to team up in tag team duel to defeat Loomis and Umbra. In episode 180, Yugi uses this card during his duel against Jade and Yuki. He normal summons this card in attack position. This card then attacks directly, but Jaden banishes Necro Gardna from his graveyard to negate the attack. Jaden then normal summons Elemental Hero Sparkman and uses it to attack and destroy this card. Scripted duels. In the non-canon duel North American WCQ 2011 special Yugi vs. Yusei, Yugi summons this card in defense mode on his first turn. It is destroyed by battle the next turn by Yusei's Speed Warrior. This card has the distinction for being the first card played in a scripted duel. In the non-canon duel YCS Providence 2012 special Mai, Joey, and Yugi vs. Pegasus and Bakura, Yugi draws this card in his first turn against Yami Bakura. It is later sent to the graveyard to fusion summon Valkyrian the Magna Warrior. Video games. Figaro uses this in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's World Championship 2010. Reverse of Arcadia.